Did she know you wrote my humps for her?
Now she do.
Damn, she never recorded it, never scratched vocal.
After I've wrote it, I'm like, yo, Ferg, you got to sing this. She's like, I don't rap though. I'm like, I heard you singing Jay-Z's lyrics. I heard you singing like your favorite rap songs, and the flow is was pretty tight, and so just sing it like it's your favorite song that you know.
Damn. And it became a phenomenon. Big Boy's Neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if this guy is here or if it's AI. No, I'm just playing.
Right?
will.i.am is in the neighborhood. Welcome back to the neighborhood, will.i.am.
Oh, man, it's good to be here, big boy.
My brother, Will. There's so much I want to cover with you, bro. But when we knew that you were coming in, I was like, man, and not the first thing, but maybe the first thing, AI.
Yeah.
What do you feel about all this artificial intelligence, bro? Being a creator, being into technology, everything.
So in 2010, Black Eyed Peas had a video. It's still up there on YouTube. It's called "I'ma Be Rocking That Body."
Yes.
If you check that video out, we started the video off with, yo, this right here, I got that future stuff. You know I'll be coming with that next. And App and Tab and Ferg was like, what's that? I'm like, this right here, you type the lyrics in, and the AI sings it, says it, produces it.
And what year was this?
It was 2010.
Dude, lock him up. Where is your brain going to when you finish here?
Yeah.
Man, and you know what's crazy about that? We were so busy listening and rocking to it, man, that we knew something was coming, but Will, just in the last, even at the top of the year,
9 months,
it feel like I'm hearing way more about chat, AI. You know, now we're starting to see artist collaborations that we never seen before. You know, there's some people that's against it, some people that's embracing it. Where are you at with AI, artificial intelligence?
I think it's dope. I think it's the dopest thing that we've seen or created. This is the spark of a whole new
Downfall?
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
It's a societal change. And with that comes awesome stuff.
Damn.
New cures for diseases, new ways of working, new ways of living in society. But more importantly, it's the time for creatives to truly take their creativity to a totally different level.
You don't think it's a gift and a curse? And I mean, a lot of things are.
So is the internet.
Right. Say it.
Imagine we were cavemen.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody was like, I came to Big Boy's Village Talk. Big Boy, Village Talk. Somebody was like, and you say, yo, it's will.i.am. And I'd be like, yo, what's up? Yo, I wanted to ask you, what do you think about this fire shit?
Right. It could burn the whole world down, man.
Like, right. Yo, you seen this stuff, bro? Like, it's fire, man. This dude got it on a log, man. Like, we cook stuff with this. What do you think? You think we should be rocking with fire, bro? Like,
right.
It could burn everything down.
Yeah,
like,
it could burn down what we created.
Yeah, bro, but like we can see in the dark now.
Right. All right.
Now we get to see in the dark.
Oh my God.
Like, what do you do with a flame?
Right.
When cavemen never seen flames and they held it in their hand. They seen sparks, they seen lightning, they seen the sun, but they never held it on a stick.
Man.
To navigate in the dark.
Hey, bro.
They only could travel in the daytime. And they always stood around the village real tight to protect themselves from predators who can see in the dark. Humans never had the ability to see through the dark, see in the dark. We needed that flame. No, did you risk burning it down?
Right.
Fact is, humanity is here right now, 2023, because of how we advance from the original flame.
Damn. You explained that so well,
Very
bro.
well, actually, yeah.
Damn.
Should there be rules and regulations against
hells yes.
Right.
Heaven, yes. All different levels of yes.
Right.
We need regulations and governance.
What about the creativity side? Like with Timbaland said he never did a song with Biggie before, and he could do the song with Biggie. Or you see like there's AI of Drake. You know, what about that intellectual property? What about protecting the music?
One, I don't know what level of AI that is.
Mm.
So when you say AI, that's a very broad.
Yeah, that's a broad
Sentence.
stroke. Right.
Fact is, there's AI in your phone right now. There's
No, it's not.
like spell
No,
check.
No. Yeah.
Spell check is AI on your phone.
Mm.
Filters and machine learning, these crazy filters is some version of AI. Navigation is some version of AI. Text to speech. Siri is some version of AI.
Mm.
We've been had AI in our realm. And it's a loose term. So let's go to the Drake AI.
Okay.
How long did it take them to make that? Did a rapper have to rap the verse? Did a beat maker have to make the beat?
Mm.
Like auto-tune is some version of machine learning.
Right.
So we've had some version of machine learning on the radio. Singers that can't sing,
Right.
throw a little auto-tune on it. Ooh, damn, you hot.
Yeah.
Now, auto-tune to the next level is what that Drake thing was. Somebody had to rap it, and then they rapped their rap with some voice processor
Right.
that made it sound like Drake's voice. I don't know. I'm just speculating.
But you're not just typing in Drake voice, Drake, and then it's like, pff, yeah. So you there is some work with
What
that.
I saw in the lab last month,
Right.
like lab models, not lab models, like
Right. Like, oh my God, they're coming too? Oh man, order me one.
they're called large language models. So I saw this large language model in a laboratory. Not a lab like a science lab. They just call it like lab, things that haven't really reached popular culture yet or have been released to many people. I saw a model. Let's stop saying model.
Right.
I saw a project, a product, I saw some technology. That's
Right.
right. Let's use that word.
Hey man.
I saw some technology, bro. I heard the best song
Oh,
that
man.
I ever sung, that I ever wrote, that I never sung, that I never wrote. And it did it in a minute. A minute.
Does that scare you?
The baddest beat. It wrote like me. I'm like, yo, what in the world? Then as it's singing it, bro, it's everything that I did. It showed in that video. Everything that I had in that
Oh,
video
my
in 2010, I saw in 2023. And I thought that technology would be in 2030, something like that.
Right. It's here. Huh?
Right? I didn't know it was going to be this fast.
Why you didn't take that primitive flame and burn everything down, bro, and
You
save
know what?
us?
No, I think that's imagine it's like somebody told you that they can harness electricity.
Right.
They were like, yo, you can electrocute an elephant with this stuff. That's what they said when the electrification of the world during the third industrial revolution was kicking off. They said that about electricity.
Right.
But
Afraid
now
of it. Yeah.
in every single building, you can't live in a society without electricity.
Mm-hmm.
So with every new thing that transforms how we live, there's going to be these worries and these fears. There's going to be these concerns.
Yeah.
But there's so much progress that comes with it.
Dude, you really made me feel better about it, though.
You did.
Yeah.
You really did, man. And if I look up and you're doing an interview somewhere else and you're not really here, it's gonna piss me off.
No, here's the part that we have to be concerned of.
Mm-hmm.
Without regulations and concerns,
Yes.
not only if they, okay, we all know AI Drake. We know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know how long it took to make that. And only a few people have access to that.
Mm-hmm.
If it took an hour, if it took a week, even if it took a minute, a few people have access to that level of
Really?
of compute and synthetic mimicking of icons that we know.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if it can mimic an icon that we know, then it can mimic your aunt
Yeah.
on a phone call,
Yeah, man.
on a Zoom call,
Yeah.
on a FaceTime call.
Yeah.
It can mimic you when it goes to your bank
Yeah.
and any bank authentication over a phone call or video.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the things that we need to be mindful of and not just worry or about the Drake. The conversation, we're having the wrong conversation. I believe the record industry is not the industry that should be fighting for this. It's the banks and insurance companies
Gotcha.
and policymakers and lawmakers. Because if we had that protected, just like the publishing industry is responsible for keeping my song safe. Like if somebody copies I Got a Feeling, there's a whole bunch of people like, hey.
Right,
You can't
right.
do none of that. That's Will's intellectual property. That's his copyright. That's his song. If somebody did, oh my God, like, but hey, homie, I got folks out there protecting that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also right now talking on the radio.
Right.
And there's some machine that could take how I speak,
right.
my choppy way of speaking,
Right.
and a machine could learn that. My raspiness of my voice, a machine could mimic that.
Mm-hmm.
But as a person that owns his copyrights to songs, like Apple owns the trademark to Think Different, we as people don't own our voice. We as people don't own our facial math. Now that's what's really messed up.
Yeah, that's
the AI is not messed up.
right.
It's the policies, the regulations, the governance, and the laws that protect people and their civil liberties and their identity and the humanity. It's a human right to own your. Now that this new technology is here, it's a human right,
Right.
not a contractual right, because record companies should not be even in this conversation unless they made the model, unless they programmed the algorithm, unless they invested in the architecture. It's between the architectural developers and policymakers to ensure that people, not artists, your uncle, your aunt, your daughter, your nephew, your cousin, your tia, your tío, your abuelita, everybody owns their identity. Just like right now, I can't go and get a syringe, take your DNA, take it to a lab and clone you. That's illegal. You own your DNA. But what about your virtual essence? What about your likeness? I signed to a record company, not a likeness company.
Right. Right.
I signed to a publishing deal, not an essence deal. So these new concepts, this is brand spanking new, bro. This is 9 months
man.
old.
Yeah.
So it's not the tech that we need to be worried about. It's the business practices of the data monarchies. It's the lack of urgency with policymakers to ensure that people, not artists, people, not companies, people are safe. People are protected and own their essence, their likeness,
There it is.
and their own AI.
will.i.am in the neighborhood, ladies and gentlemen. I told y'all. He said, did he say what I said earlier?
Exactly.
Off
Yeah.
air, I said pretty much the same thing that you
Word
said,
for
Will.
word.
Yeah, not word for
Oh.
word, but I mean, broad stroke, I said that. Yeah, man. I was like, man, we got to worry about, the protecting the people. There's so many things that we got to cover, man. Now, for one, I did watch, what was it, F1. I saw you walking around. I saw that they
cool.
had people out there that was representing us in our field. But what is your relationship? Now, I know that you're a car guy. What is your relationship with like Formula One, F1? Like, what is that relationship that puts you even closer now?
So Black Eyed Peas, we did like in Singapore. There was the first race ever in Singapore was in 2008, and in 2008, Black Eyed Peas played that Formula One show in Singapore, and from there I was like, "Yo, this is amazing. I like cars."
Yeah.
And I remembered I met Lewis in 2007,
Cool.
and I introduced Lewis to Nicole. That's
And
how.
Lewis, we talking about Lewis
Hamilton.
Go here now.
So he was like, "Yo, Will, I want to meet Nicole." So I introduced them to. They dated for a while.
And this is Nicole.
Scherzinger.
How about yeah.
And then that's what really got me into the sport was Lewis and doing that Singapore race. I was like, yo, they got this big party we just got paid lots of money
Mm-hmm.
to play a race in a country who never had a race. 100,000, 200,000 people were out there, and they didn't televise the performance, just the race. And so I was like, wow, this is like a circuit. And so from there, I got into the sport, started going to different races. I went to Bahrain.
You ever been to Monaco?
Yeah, I've been to Monaco's
That's
race.
dope.
Damn.
And so from 2008,
We was in Long Beach. Remember the Long Beach thing?
so from 2008 to 2022, 21, I just been in and out of like that whole realm. So it wasn't until last year I was in Singapore, and the CEO, Stefano, was like, hey, Will, you've been coming to these races. You're part of the family. I always see you at key races. Why don't you take a walk on me on the track in the morning, just so you could see, like, you know, get a little closer to, you know, F1 family, so you could see the track, walk the track.
Just like Michael Jackson when he told you to ride the horse and go pick apples. Yeah.
Why don't you get on that horse, and if you get that juicy apple,
Yeah.
and the horse knows
Yeah.
what apple's the juiciest.
Right.
So ride the horse's back, and right when the horse is gonna go eat the apple, because it picked it, knows the juiciest, just snatch the apple, but don't let the horse bite your arm. No.
Right. So you get the knowledge of that.
Yes.
And then you fast forward and someone's telling you now, feel the track.
Feel the track. Will.
Under your feet.
Feel the
Walk
track.
around.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Don't go at over 100 miles an hour with someone driving. You walk it.
Walk it.
Feel it.
So I'm walking on the track with Stefano, and I'm like, hey, Stefano, like, this year, Black Eyed Peas, we played Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. We played Miami. We played Miami. We played Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, Monaco, and I'm gonna go to Mexico.
And this is all F1?
It's all F1.
Okay.
So just it's the only sport where the loser or the person that's last is still in the championship. Usually every sport, like,
Right.
you get eliminated. There's no elimination. So your favorite team, regardless of the position they're in, are still going to be in the last championship. And it's the only sport that plays live every single year in 23 countries.
Damn.
Right? FIFA World Cup is every 4 years
Right.
in a location. This is every weekend, probably, throughout the year from March to November. They travel to 23 different countries. And so as I'm walking on the track, I'm like, yo, Stefano, I noticed that this year at Black Eyed Peas, we released Don't You Worry with Shakira. And we're about to release this new song with Anita and El Alfa called Simply the Best. We picked up some pretty big bags just playing your circuit that was never televised. But you never asked us to turn in a song to play these significant locations. He's like, why would we want you to turn in songs? I'm like, because you guys have these parties and the promoters are paying us top dollar to come out and perform. And the record company is not a part of the conversation to ensure that they're getting global eyeballs on releases. When if there is a global eyeball
Oh, my Lord.
perspective, it's right here. This is the global eyeball circuit. And then I stopped. I was like, ooh, let me noodle on this idea. And because I knew I was going to see him in Mexico. So now we're in Mexico for Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead race that's in Mexico, October 31st. And so he's like, hey, Will, you want to see
A dead body?
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Sorry, I'm jumping the gun.
He's like, Will, you want to see the race from the best view possible? I'm like, yeah. He was like, take that helicopter up there and take the helicopter route. And so I was like, wait, what? He was like, Will, when it dips, you're going to love it. So I'm like, wait. He's like, look, it's going to be great. So I was like, all right. So I hopped in a helicopter.
Of course.
And it's like through the track, through the stands. I'm like, yo, the wildest stuff I ever seen in my life. And so he was like, okay, and after you do the helicopter, we're gonna do this circuit around the track on like in the parade. I want you to sit in the car with me on the parade. So as we're driving through the parade, I'm like, hey, Super Bowl, we played the Super Bowl. And the Super Bowl is right on the smack of the field. Your field is like 1.5 miles long through different stands. Like, what if we had like a moving stage?
Oh my God.
That drove through the audience. That'd be amazing, right, Stefano? He was like, Will, we could do anything together. I'm like, why don't we put out a record next year? So that way I could release. Oh, then I say no. I said nothing. I stopped because then.
And then you're like, and I'll meet you in France and pick it up from here.
Because I started. Because I knew I was going to see him. That was a Sunday. That was a Friday. And I knew I was going to see him on Tuesday in Boston because he was speaking at Harvard. And I attend Harvard. I went back to college to take a business class. So right now this is my second year of Harvard. But my first year I was like, let me fine tune this business pitch and I'm gonna pitch it to him at Harvard. So then I left Mexico, went back to Harvard, wrote out my business plan. I'm like, I'm gonna pitch him. What's the best place but to pitch him this concept, but at Harvard Business School. So I went to his lecture. After the lecture, I'm like, hey, I got this idea. I'm going to make a record. We're going to release each song at key races. And so the first race was that we aimed at was Miami. And that's a song with me and Lil Wayne, The Formula.
Yes.
And I pitched him this formula. Like, I'm going to do key collaborations aimed at key locations. And by the end of the year, there's going to be an album. So then I started putting these collabs together. Me and Lil Wayne, me and Scum, me and
No, man. No, don't do that.
Yeah.
All right, because you said me and Lil Wayne, I got that, and then you said me and
Yeah, so I got me and Lil Wayne.
Yeah, man.
This
Hell
is the
yeah.
formula.
Yes, sir. Let me turn your mic up. Go ahead.
And then I got me and And then I got me and Whitney.
Yeah.
And then I got me and
Yeah.
And then I got me and Brown.
Hey, man. Oh, Chris Brown. I heard him say that.
What are you talking about?
Man.
I didn't say no. I didn't say that.
I don't know, man. Yeah, dude.
I heard it. I got me and Whitney. And then I got me and
it's something to me.
And then I got a record with me and Yamin. And then I got
me and Kevin.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The last one I think was Britney though.
Yeah.
Damn.
Wow.
You guys is hearing things.
Okay. You know why? But if you were saying things, we wouldn't have to guess, man. The old will.i.am, man, would have came in.
Our brains are going, and we're noodling over names.
Yeah. So this project that I'm doing with F1 was like, how come nobody's ever done this?
Right.
Like the Super Bowl, NFL don't even do this. They just pick a person to play the Super Bowl.
Right.
I'm like, yo, no, there's a whole new way to do it. Meanwhile, people chasing TikTok algorithms, that's great. But then you have activity every single Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. People gathered together. And it's a beautiful circuit because they go to the race, there's this concert at the race, and then the parties that happen at the circuit are just like the dopest parties on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for 23 countries around the world.
And Will, the song with you and Lil Wayne, as I'm reading here, it said that it'll be used at the start of each race for the entire season.
For like years. You know what I mean? And then the one that we releasing in July,
right,
is going
and
to
that's
be.
With
Yeah, Suzanne.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, me and
Snoop Dogg.
No.
Okay, all right.
You hearing things,
right? Yeah.
Yeah, the one with me and Young is
Lil Jon.
No, it is like, oh my gosh, that one is like,
yeah.
With who again?
What?
It was you and who?
Oh, me and Young. It's cool.
You and Hammer. All right, that's dope.
And
you know what I'm saying?
be rewarded.
I thought I heard Young. It might be Young.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so that I'm really excited about.
So am I, man. Just when you say, as soon as you start saying the names, I was like, whoa, this is amazing.
Yeah.
You know, Hammer. You know what I'm saying? I want to see that, man. So you're not gonna tell us any of them, huh?
because we focused right now on
Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne.
I heard that.
Yeah,
All right.
me and Wayne.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Lil Wayne. I got that one.
I got that Lil Wayne.
I heard that, man. Hey, man, with you being so busy, bro, are you guys going back out again? Will we see a Black Eyed Peas tour anytime soon?
Oh, we touring this summer. We tour every summer.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So we tour like in Europe though.
So I'll go to Europe.
Yeah. So that we've been just we'll do Mexico. We got a tour in Mexico this year. Ooh, we just played Mexico. We played this place called Aguascalientes.
Mm-hmm.
That was Mexico.
Dude, you guys have always been the biggest like worldwide international group, man. I remember that one time, dude, you had like separate passports. Mm-hmm. Remember when his passport had so many pages and so many stamps, and he has extra passports where it's like, okay, well, one got to go, to probably an embassy or something, but he has multiple passports. Wow. Remember when you tossed it to me, and when I caught it, I dislocated my shoulder because it was so heavy?
Yeah,
it looked like a book, bro. It looked like a book. Why is it so important for a dude that's like homegrown from like East Los to continue to go around the world and see what this world look like?
For me, that was just being honest. For me and the P's, me, App, and Taboo, from the beginning. I say that because we were doing this before we met Fergie.
Right.
We were international because at the time, our style of hip hop, people weren't messing with that in America.
Mm-hmm. So you had to go to where the audience was.
Yeah. So at that time, when we came out in 1998, the Far Side and that style of rap, Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul, it moved to like G-Funk in 1998. And that was the big, like 1998, from 1993 to mid 2000s, it was all gangster stuff. It was all like G-Unit. First it was Rough Riders. On the East Coast side, it was like G-Funk and gangster rap on the West Coast side. Then it was G-Unit, East Coast, loving Dr. Dre and like gangster rap. And so Black Eyed Peas, like what were we? Where do you work us?
Mm-hmm.
And so we went outside of America, Mexico. We went to Colombia, collaborated with Juanes. In 2004, we collaborated with Daddy Yankee. Mm-hmm. Did a song called Playing the PR and Who's Your Daddy? And Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, Peru, Chile, Nicaragua, El Salvador. Like we went to all the places that resembled what I grew up in LA.
Right.
Like, let's go to Mexico, not just TJ.
Right.
Learn that Monterrey, you think Beverly Hills is dope? Monterrey, bro. Like a lot of people they think Mexico is TJ.
Yeah.
Monterrey is Beverly Hills and Boston. They have a MIT, the best technical college in Monterrey. That kind of head to head with MIT and Stanford. People have like Mexico, bro. Mexico is like, it's
Man, take us.
Mexico is like one of my favorite places, bro. Like in the world, Mexico, and
and you're a world traveler, bro.
Yeah. So and then London, meeting folks, black people from Nigeria, like Nigerian, British. Like, hey, I felt at home in the UK.
Did you ever and I'm talking about before, like when it got extremely crazy. Were you ever thinking like, man, we doing well in other places, but America or at home it's not the same of what we're seeing across. Did you ever get like, man, what is it going to take for us to so-called blow up here too?
No, we were big, just not as big.
Right.
The NBA campaign really helped us. Let's get it started.
Yes, man.
So
Can you imagine if you and we're not gonna get all into it, but can you imagine if y'all didn't go to Let's Get It Started? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and what that has done for switching lyrics and what that still means around the country.
Yo, for real. There was a song by Craig Mack.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Come on.
Zoom, 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 zoom.
Right.
Zoom, zoom, zoom. 1, 2, 3 in. At the 4
in.
in. If it was crowded, then push down
the
the door
door
in. And the title.
Cole, get
Yeah.
right.
The title is called Get Our Word. Yeah.
That was one of my favorite songs growing up, right?
Yes, sir.
I got to tell you the story. It was 2001. I came to Jamal Anderson. I'm like, yo, bro, I want to do a soundtrack to your feet. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, yo, bro, I want to make a soundtrack to your feet, Jamal. Everybody's doing soundtracks to movies. I want to do a soundtrack to your feet. He was like, what does that mean? I'm like, yo, look, how long you training? You do physical training for the Falcons, like before the season starts. He was like, that's about 12 weeks. I was like, yeah, bro, that's about 12 songs. So every week I'm going to do a soundtrack to your feet because you need your feet to be a running back for the Falcons, Dirty Bird. And then after the 12 weeks, we'll have 12 songs. And then when you get your shoe deal, that soundtrack to your feet is going to attach to your shoe and it's going to be sold at Foot Locker. He was like, yo, Will, that's kind of brilliant. I'm like, yeah, right? Think about it. Everybody's doing soundtracks to other products except for products that have physical distribution in every single Foot Locker around the world. Why is music just sold at Tower Records and Sam Goody and Warehouse with Violet Brown? How come it ain't sold at Foot Locker, bro? That comes with a box of shoes, right? He was like, yo, Will, I love that idea. I was like, yo, bro, soundtrack to your feet. So then he breaks his knee.
Oh, Lord.
So I'm like, dang it. My idea, bro, my idea.
Yeah.
So
we gonna rehab your knee, and I'm gonna make a soundtrack to your knee about rehabbing.
So
And then it'll be at all the like physical therapy spots when you walk in. No, not as big, not as big.
So
Sorry
then,
about that.
so then that turned into I'm like, I gotta pitch this idea. This dude named Mike Jerkovic. He's the guy that connected me with Shy Day, Young and Rubicon, Ogilvy, BBDO, and Wyden Kennedy. These are ad agencies. And that's how I paid my mom's mortgage when I moved her out the projects. I would go to these ad agencies and be in think tanks and strategize for them. So I'm like, yo, Mike, I got this idea soundtrack to Feet. Do you know any drink companies so I could do a soundtrack to a beer? Because I was at the club the other day and I realized that people go to clubs to drink and the music's for free, but they got to buy drinks. Why don't somebody attach music to a drink on purpose, not accidental? He was like, yo, I know the Coors family. I'm like, yo, let's go to Colorado. This is 2001, remember? So I fly to Colorado. I meet with the Coors family. I'm like, yo, I want to do a soundtrack to your beer.
Right?
The Rockies.
And so then they're like, we're not in the music business. I'm like, yes, you are. Every single bar that I go to is playing music. And if I go to a bar that's not playing music, people ain't buying your drink. So you are in the music business because you help the music business have business regardless if they're buying it at a bar. They're buying your product. So that means at some section or corner of the music business, other businesses are thriving because of music. So you are in the music business. He was like, wow, that's a pretty good pitch. I'm like, yeah. What do you need? I'm like, yo, give me the green light to make an album. So a lot of the things, if you see me repeating, is no different than what I'm doing with F1. It's just a repeat strategy to different sectors.
Did you do the Coors thing?
No.
He broke his back.
No, he's like,
Oh, Lord, what
he's
happened
like,
there?
we got a brand called Zima. So I'm like,
I remember those.
Zima. Oh, okay. All right, I'll do
was
that.
clear.
So we go into the meeting and they say, we got this slogan called Get the Party Started. So I'm like, Y'all can't get the party started. That means you guys are promoting drinking and driving. You guys had to be the end of the party, in the party with Zima, the after party. They go to the club, they hang out, and they drinking Zima. You seen that freaking Pastor Cavassier freaking thing? You think Cavassier sat there and been like, yo, we need to get Busta Rhymes and Pharrell to make a freaking Cavassier song. Fact is, it happened. And Cavassier, whether they did or didn't, it happened in culture and it felt natural.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, they sing in a commercial on the radio. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Cavassier couldn't, imagine if they had to pay the radio station to talk about Cavassier.
Right.
Meanwhile, hip hop is doing it and costing less money to the brand.
Right.
People don't realize the power of hip hop business. We just doing stuff.
Mm-hmm. Air Force Ones, like, yeah, my Adidas.
Right? Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang,
Yeah.
Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci.
Yeah.
Like, wow. You think Gucci was like, yo, we need to have a new slogan.
Right.
Yo, I got it.
Yeah.
Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang.
Who are we going to get to do this? Yeah.
We just doing it for these people.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, yo, I'm going to pitch things to people that we would just do naturally.
Right.
So I started pitching. So they were like, party starter. I'm like, no, bro, that's drunk driving. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. So I did this song with me and Planet Asia.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get this party started. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Get this party now. The album was called Must Be 21.
Right.
Because Zima paid for it, I own the master. Because they're not in the music business. They don't care about it. And it's still on iTunes right now. An artist that was on that project was John Stevens before he was John Legend. Stacey Ferguson before she was Fergie. So we did this song called Let's Get It Started. One of the versions I turned in, they didn't like.
And you was like, you're not in the music business.
But it's cool. You still got to work with the brand.
Right.
They didn't like that version. So I turned that version into Let's Get Our Word.
Right.
Then NBA then says, yo, we like that Let's Get Our Word. Can you turn it to Let's Get It Started? I'm like, okay. It was already called Let's Get Started.
Yeah. You was like, let me see if I can do it. Let me see. All right. Here it is.
So Peas is, I've always like done like these, it's science. I went from doing battle rap and doing that well to like competing with brands and ad agencies and thinking of our band as a brand.
Mm-hmm.
And using the things that we do to help, bring our own products to market. I be rocking them beats.
Yeah, I be rocking them beats.
That was Beats product.
Right.
Playing the Super Bowl, that's Beats on the field. Right in the middle of the field was a Beats logo, which was a Black Eyed Peas logo first. But and the end album cover is a green AI entity of AI's interpretation of me, Taboo, Fergie, if we were all one. Like a digital deep fake on a graphical level. But yeah, Let's Get It Started was that.
Man, do you sit back sometimes and trip off of the success that you've had?
Nope, because this next stunt.
Yeah, man.
This next one,
we haven't seen the best will.i.am. We haven't seen the best Black Eyed Peas. We haven't seen the best yet.
This next stunt, I just launched this new company called FYI.ai.
Talk to me about that.
This next one, this is the one. Because it's happening at the time, the right time now. Before I was always like 5 years ahead. And I don't say that in an arrogant way. Sometimes being too early,
right?
You can either be the early bird or the first rat to cheese. The early bird gets the worm. The first rat gets slashed by that mousetrap. You want to be the second rat to the cheese, not the first rat. But you want to be the early bird to the worm. A lot of the times, I was the first mouse to the cheese.
Right, gotcha.
Well, right now, I'm the early bird. That's right on time. sunrise.
Can you tell us what that is? A brief of what that is, or
Yeah, so in 2020, I was like, wow, man, everybody's working from home, but the creative community, we don't have, like, Slack wasn't for us, Microsoft Teams wasn't for us, Google Meets wasn't really built for creatives. And I say creatives across all spectrum of creativity, whether you're a photographer, cinematographer, a musician, a producer, because the way they display the content that we love and we make and we're passionate about is not optimal to the medium that we do. So, and I realized that we were working across 5 different platforms just to get work done. We're on WhatsApp sending voice notes, but you can't search a voice note, and you have to be in a quiet place to hear that voice note. If somebody sends you an important voice note at a concert, you asked out.
right?
If somebody sends you address and phone numbers from a voice note, how do you even get it? You have to like wait, pause it, rewind it, write it down.
Right.
So the traditional messenger that people are working off of is old school. And to work off of that old school messenger, the basic architecture of the messenger, you need a Dropbox and a WeTransfer and an email and a calendar and a Zoom just to work from a messenger. And if you send a big file on a messenger,
Right.
you can't even open it on the messenger. You got to open it on email on a desktop or a laptop, not the phone.
Right.
So I was like, yo. So I called some engineers that I know. I'm like, yo, I got this idea to have a new type of messenger for creative enterprise. I'm going to fund it. How long it's going to take to make it? So I told them the idea, and it took us about 1.5 years to build the architecture. And then we partnered up with some pretty cool investors, IBM being one of them.
Oh.
We put elliptical curve cryptography methodologies onto the platform. What does that mean? So NFTs told us that you get a key. Crypto told us that you get a key. But when it comes to your messages and your digital assets, there's end-to-end encryption, but nobody's given a key. That key is super important when it comes to owning your data. When it comes to like, making sure your stuff is safe. So we issue keys to every single account. We have generative AI baked in the core. Right now the experience is go to some generative AI, talk to AI, bring it, copy paste it to a chat thread. On FYI, you have AI with you and your team, and AI as a part of your team, and everybody chiming in and collaborating with the AI on a platform that you own your data.
When do we see this?
Yo, it's right now. We down. Go to the App Store.
Oh my Lord.
FYI.me and download FYI. It's a creative tool for creatives made by creatives.
Hey man, right here it says it's Dropbox, WhatsApp, and Slack powered by AI all in one. Jesus Christ.
No. We're not powered by Slack.
No.
It's like a WhatsApp meets Dropbox makes WeTransfer.
No, it was saying and Slack powered by. Hey, not that's y'all.
Yeah. So we own our own. It's all our own stuff. But the comparisons is all those platforms all in one.
When I came by your lab that day, right, you were working on something. And then you start closing doors when I was walking in. I was like, man, what y'all working on? And it looked like you had a whole different country in there at one point. I wish you would have let me know back then, man. Remember that day? Remember that day? I was like, oh, boy.
Yeah. It's this. It's this. I learned a lot from working at Beats with Jimmy. That's my, like, mentor, my family member. I learned so much from being like adjacent to Apple and how awesome Apple is as a company. I made mistakes in the past, learned from those mistakes, invested in some pretty cool stuff along the way. I invested in Tesla early on in 2007.
I heard of that.
Yeah,
I heard of Tesla.
But then like other new technologies, like, but it's an amazing time for creators.
You a piece of shit, because you were just about to tell me something that could have changed my life.
What?
And you fucking stopped. You caught yourself, man. Because you the one, you want to be the story. every time we sit down with each other, man.
No, they're just certain things like, that with non-disclosures I can't
Right.
disclose.
Like when Tyrese almost fucked off the $1 billion for Drake.
Remember that?
We gotta be first. We gotta be first. will.i.am, I want to come back with you, man, and I want to do something what you call for real, for false. I'm just gonna ask you some questions about will.i.am. If it's for real, you let it be known. If it's false, tell us that it is so.
Boom.
will.i.am has never had a job. For real, for false.
That's for real, for real.
Really? So you've never flipped you always worked. You always did your thing, but you didn't have what we would say, that job.
No, so I had this ex-girlfriend. I just came out the projects, moved out of the projects from with my mom to my ex-girlfriend. And she was like, well, you need to get a job to help pay these bills. And I'm like, I don't know about that. She's like, what do you mean you don't know about that? We got to pay these bills. I'm like, I really need you to hold it down because that's not a part of that's not the route.
You probably sound ridiculous.
No, for real.
At that time.
I'm like, I have a job. I'm just not getting paid right now. She's like, well, we need to pay these bills. So I'm like, all right, okay. So I got this job at George's department store on Melrose.
Mm-hmm.
My homegirl hooked me up with the job. My first day of work, she's like, well, I can't hire you. I'm like, why? She was like, this isn't for you. I remember if it was yesterday, bro. So I'm like, wait, so I'm fired? I didn't even work.
I don't have no tag or nothing.
She's like, but a month later, 2 months later, that store closed down. So they probably were going through stuff. Mm-hmm. And they realized they couldn't hire me. I go back home. She's like, so how was work? I'm like, I got fired. She's like, how you get fired the first day?
Right.
So I told her. She was like, she said that this ain't for me. She's like, well, that's some BS. You probably didn't even get a job.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, look, I'm gonna call my mom. Maybe she can help me out, and help me get welfare.
Well, yeah.
So, because I was signed a roofless, so I had some type of income at one point in time when I was 16, 17, 18. By the time I was 20, all that money dried out, my roofless money. So I go to my mom, like, yo, mom, you think you could help me out? What does welfare pay? She's like, I can help you. They could help out. And that's $150 a month. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. So me and my mom and my ex-girl go to the welfare department on Olympic, right near the Sears building. So I'm right there at the welfare office. So it's my turn to go get my, to sign a paper with my mom. I'm like, so it's $150 a month, Mom? She's like, mm-hmm. I'm like, okay. So it's almost my turn. There's two people in front of me. I'm like, hey, Ma, I can't do this. She's like, what you mean? And so my ex is like, well, what do you mean? Yeah. We need this money. I'm like, this ain't the way it's supposed to be. It can't, this ain't it. I'm thinking about how this equals the success. This is not the math.
Wow.
I can't do this. So me and my ex get in a fight. My mom was like, well, if you change your mind, we could always come back. So Taboo, the next day, he's like, yo, Will, I got an idea. I'm like, what's up? He's like, let's go to all the record companies. You know how last time when we were shopping our deal, they gave us promo CDs? He's like, well, I came up. I took those promo CDs and I sold them right there on freaking Glendale Boulevard, Rockaway Records. And I made $300 selling promo CDs. So why don't we go to all the record companies and promote their new releases and then sell them to different record stores that sit in the resale bin? I'm like, yo, Tab, that is fucking brilliant. Yeah. So me and Tab and Apple going around record companies like, yo, give us your promos because when Black Eyed Peas does shows, we want to promote them at our shows.
And that's what it's giving away boxes and stuff.
So they gave us boxes of new releases every freaking, Friday. And so then we would go sell them. So when people ask us yo, what do you guys think of piracy? I'm like, it's cool.
We did it.
What you gonna do? That was how we survived.
Man. So no job, just that, and then
never had
always
a job.
had your focus on
I don't know
that.
what it feels like to clock in.
Right.
But in a way, I kind of wish I had that discipline.
But you got a discipline that people don't have, bro.
Yeah, but still, there's a discipline I lack.
Well, you know what? Put me on your payroll. I'll make sure that you have that discipline. I'll make sure that whatever it is, me and Jose, we'll put it together. Yes. All right. For real, for false. In high school, he was voted most likely to succeed.
That was false for false.
Really?
Because in high school, I got voted as a space cadet. I was popular, but they thought I was weird.
Right.
I don't know how they thought that.
Yeah, I can't see that someone would think of you as a space cadet in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you were levitating from gym to science class, I didn't think that anyone would have saw that.
No, like the white girls are like, "Oh my gosh, William, you're so different." the black girls are like, "Boy, you crazy.
Hey, man.
Why you talk like a Mexican?"
He wrote this.
And then the Mexicans were like, "Fucking Willie, eh? I know, huh?"
I know.
All the I know has, they were like, you know what I mean? I love the I know has.
Hey, man, he wrote the song My Humps in 5 minutes.
That's for real. And I wrote it for Nicole first.
For Nicole Scherzinger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Really?
After I heard Don't Ya.
Oh.
I was like, yo, what is this?
Did she know you wrote My Humps for her?
Now she do.
Damn, she never recorded it, never scratched vocal.
After I've wrote it, I'm like, yo, Ferg, you got to sing this. She's like, I don't rap, though. I'm like, I heard you singing Jay-Z's lyrics. I heard you singing like your favorite rap songs. And the flow is was pretty tight. And so just sing it like it's your favorite song that you know.
Damn. And it became a phenomenon. And it's crazy because you brought up like Jay-Z, what that song feels like. Now we're at 50 years of hip hop, bro. On something that people was like, will this even last? And here we are, and you're a very huge, intricate, big part of hip hop.
Yeah.
What is that 50 years of hip hop, and what does hip hop mean to will.i.am?
Tell the truth, James Brown was ode to Eric and Rock came out with I Got Soul. Rap brings back all R&B, and if we would not, people would have forgot.
Yes, sir.
I remember
Stetsasonic, y'all, if y'all don't know.
I remember that. Like, I remember that growing up. Like, hip hop really changed my life, saved my life. De La Soul and Tribe Called Quest was like, it's okay to be different.
Right.
Had I not, and Kwame, had I not fell in love with that style of hip hop, I would have been a Blolo. A Blolo is like a black cholo.
Right.
I would have been a Blolo, like for real. When Kid Frost came to Strata Court to film La Raza, all the freaking veteranos went to my mom's house. Hey, Deborah, they're filming a video up here. Fool, like, let Willie come out and dance.
Tell them. So if somebody really looked at that, tell them the story that you're talking about.
So there was a video shoot. So he had to get permission by the vets to film in Estrada Courts. So when they came to Estrada Courts, the veteranos came to my house. It was like, hey, Willie, they're filming a video up there. Fool, tell your mom if they can let you out, Holmes. I'm like, I can't. Hey, Deborah, let Willie come out. They're filming a video. He has to represent the neighborhood. And so my mom was like, Willie ain't going to be in no video. All right, come on, don't snap, Deborah. Like, let him come out. We're going to take care of him, because they always looked out for me. Hey, Willie, go home, fool. Your mom's going to hit you.
Right.
Hey, Willie, go. You know what I mean? Like, that's what they did. So I'm like, Ma, come on, please. You didn't even let me go when they filmed Breaking.
Right.
So Breaking was right up the street.
Right.
On Euclid. And at what is now Oscar de la Hoya's school, there used to be a gym there. They filmed there at the gym too. My mom was like, I was like, Ma, you didn't even let me go film Breaking. I wanted to dance and pop in the freaking video. She's like, because you ain't got no business out there doing. She was like super protective. There was always shooting in the neighborhood. My mom was like super strict. I was like, Ma, you didn't even let me go in the alleys when Michael Jackson was filming Thriller up the street from the house, bro. On Pacific Union in the factories. So, because you ain't got no business in no factories. I was like, well, Ma, it's right here by the We Are Not a Minority wall. It's right there on Olympic. It's in our neighborhood. Right by Cora's house. Come on, Ma. ask Perline and Miss Bustos to make sure that I'm okay. Ask Porky and Susie to make sure that, and Cynthia and Gay, make sure they call the neighborhood to keep an eye on me. And you better not be out there acting no fool either. So she let me go. Begged her. The whole neighborhood begged her. They're like, Willie, you know what I'm saying? Do your thing, fool. Represent Vietnamese.
Right. There you go.
So I go, and so they were like, hey, this is Willie. He's going to be in the video. So then
He was like, I guess he will be.
So then Kid Frost is like, nah, Holmes, this is for us. He's one of us, fool. He was like, no, he's not. He was like, he's one of us, fool. Put him in the video and say, if you want to shoot in our neighborhood, fool, he has to be in the video. And so some putazos are going to go throw down right there.
Mm-hmm.
So the loquitos came out, Holmes. So then everything cooled out. They were like, look, we don't have ours like that. This is La Raza.
Mm.
And I understand the sensitivity of that. Because if you think about it, it was the first time like Mexicans had like a record.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted to represent Chicanos from LA. And at the time, they didn't have that. You had Melo Mayonnaise.
Right.
That's Panamanian. Or I think, yeah, he's from Panama. But Mexicans didn't have that. And so they were like, hey, Willie, he said no to be in the video, but he wants to talk to you and get his number. So Kid Frost gave me his number. They were like, he raps too, fool. Kick a rap, Willie. Kick a rap. So I kicked my rap. He's like, you're pretty feed me, dog. You're pretty feed me. Here's my number, fool. Call me. So Kid Frost gave me his number. And in that little spark of like answering my phone call when I was in the projects, that spark of talking to Kid Frost, but I was like freaking 13, 14 years old when La Raza came out, that really gave me motivation. So that was far greater than being in that video.
Wow.
And so that's why I went back to my neighborhood on Where's the Love and shot on the same street that he walked down on La Raza for Where's the Love.
I heard that, bro. Full circle.
Real stuff.
Full circle. And you didn't let Frost in your video. I remember that.
He was like, hey, fool, let me be in the video.
Like, no, Frost.
We're doing this for us.
Y'all stick around your radio.
This is for the blow-blows.
will.i.am, definitely want to thank you for coming into the neighborhood, hanging out with us, man. Any more opportunities that's coming your way, man, let us eat with you. You know, people always say, man, help me. You know what I'm saying?
I want to thank the LAUSD for acknowledging the work that my foundation has been doing in East LA, Boyle Heights, for the past 12 years. I started off with 65 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with the partnership with LAUSD, we serve over 13,000 students in LA with robotics and computer science.
Man.
We've been doing that for like heavy, strong for.
It was crazy to see kids creating robots. Yes.
It was my dream, my whole entire life, going to freaking East LA Classics. I'm
Oh my God.
One day I want to perform at the East LA Classic. My whole life. So we played the Super Bowl, and then I'm like, yo, my next dream is to freaking go back to East LA and do the East LA Classic. My cousin David Isaiah, rest in peace. He's the guy who was like, yo, Will, you should write your raps down. And there was this other rapper in East LA. His name is MC Chase. And it was like me and MC Chase. He's from Wyvernwood. I'm from Estrada Courts. And we would go battle at Roosevelt dances. And my cousin Dave was like, yo, imagine one day if you performed at the East LA Classic, that'll be dope, huh? I'm like, yo, that'd be so crazy. East LA Classic. Wow. Anyway, so last year we did the East LA Classic. And, I paid for that whole,
bro.
the drones, the stage.
Hey, man, it wasn't
like
like somebody just on the field. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody be like, oh, we're going to plug into the PA system. Mm-hmm. It looked like a halftime performance for Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It was treated as such, the way that you guys were up at the top of East LA, of ELAC, and then the way that y'all got down to the field, what the sound looked like, what it was like people are going to remember that.
Man,
forever.
I was walking at the
Coliseum. Exactly. That was it. Yep.
I was walking through the stands. Some lady comes up to me. She was like, Willie, you remember me? I'm like, no. I used to take care of you in the projects. I live right next to Miss Bustos. You remember me? I'm like, oh, I know Deborah for like a long time. Your mom took care of my little kids at the after school program in Costello, and your Uncle Donnie. Like people that I grew up with, bro. Like
Yeah.
Ashy, Project, Willie. I'm Little Willie. And just hold on. Being one of the only black families in an all Mexican neighborhood, and they show you that much love, and then you might make it, and you go back, and you see people that you grew up with, when you're all in the hot lunch line, the Resurrection Church free milk line, free cheese line, food stamps, paleta man, raspada man, the Welsh's, the carnation milk yellow truck that came and gave you like the freaking donuts, mazapans, pico pico, the freaking tamarindos in your teeth. That was the most beautifulest thing in the world, bro. The Super Bowl was dope. But that East LA Classic, because it connected to that Kid Frost moment. And they're like, you can't be in the video. You're not one of us. I support 13,000 Mexicanos in my foundation. There's some black people, but the majority of the kids in my program are Mexican. I can't help where I was raised. And I love where I was raised. But that moment of he's not one of us and how I fit in music, having to find a career outside of America and Mexico being like a cornerstone to our success. It's like when I watch The Jungle Book, I'm Mowgli, raised by wolves. And so I joke with this, I'm Blaxican, but that's really what I am. My whole family. You go to my Christmas parties or my family get-togethers.
Never been invited, go ahead.
I make tamales. My sister makes freaking pozole. That's what we do. That's how we were raised. You see black and brown little nephews and nieces. That's my neighborhood. Every Sunday, I'm in the projects when I'm home. I go back to the projects every Sunday I'm home. And it's like a restart. It's a recharge. And I see the same families. Leo worked at the freaking corner store. He's like, hey, Willie, you remember like when your mom used to come and ask me for free ham or in credit? Tell your mom she still owes me $50. And my mom would be like, hey, Willie, go to Leo and ask him for some for $2 worth of ham on credit. Like, hey, Leo, my mom wants to know if we could get $2 worth of ham on credit. All right, Willie, your mom still owes me from 4 months ago. Your credit is up to $50. I know, come on, Leo, but it's food. We're hungry. All right, Willie, here you go. That neighborhood. That's my heart.
It meant the whole. So yeah, that was bigger than even what we saw that night.
Grammys.
Yeah.
Super Bowl.
Plaque.
That, bro.
Yeah. Thank you, brother. will.i.am in the neighborhood, Big Boy's neighborhood.
Yeah.